tourism.
I don't care about
the troop
Hey,
and the
I don't care. If you want to have them here,
pageantry.
if you want to have them here as a ceremonial thing, whatever. But the amount of money that is pumped into that ridiculous farce of pretending that they're somehow better than us when they are a dysfunctional family on the biggest benefits in the country. No.
My friends, welcome. Imagine we're not in our homes, but in the gilded halls of a palace, where tradition and history weigh heavy. Here, uncomfortable questions feel urgent. Today, we're not here to attack, but to examine the crown, its institution, its family, and the money that keeps it all running. This topic divides. Some see magic and continuity, others see unfairness and irrelevance. Our goal isn't to take sides, but to understand why the monarchy inspires such devotion and such criticism. We'll explore a bold statement that recently shook the national conversation. It challenged assumptions and forced many to reconsider their views. This is what a healthy debate should do: provoke, challenge and clarify. Let's proceed with open minds and curiosity. The monarchy has survived by adapting. Today's questions are just the latest test. This story deserves our attention, from royal proclamations to the whispers of critics. Let's begin. On what seemed like just another ordinary day, a voice cut through the noise. Marina Purkiss, known for her unfiltered directness and fearless commentary, stepped into the spotlight. On national television, she boldly called the royal family a dysfunctional cult, led by what she described as an adulterous king and queen consort, shattering the usual reverence shown to the monarchy. Her words were sharp and unapologetic, referencing scandals and controversies that had once rocked the monarchy and dominated tabloid headlines for years. She highlighted the irony that the king, as head of the church, couldn't even marry within its sacred walls, exposing a contradiction at the heart of royal tradition. This wasn't just criticism, it was a story in a sentence, a pointed summary that captured the attention of viewers and journalists alike. Then came her most provocative label yet. She called the royals the UK's top benefit scroungers, a phrase that instantly sparked controversy. By using a term usually aimed at the poor, she flipped the script, spotlighting class, privilege, and the way society talks about entitlement. The impact was instant. The clip went viral, spreading across social media platforms and igniting heated discussions everywhere. For some, it was an insult to tradition. For others, it was catharsis, a long-awaited release of pent-up frustration. Purkiss dragged the monarchy debate into the raw public arena, forcing the nation to confront uncomfortable truths. Suddenly, the conversation was about more than the royals. It was about double standards, power, and who gets to define the narrative. Whether you agreed or not, the silence was broken. The debate was alive, and the nation was listening in a way it hadn't for years. To understand top benefit scroungers, follow the money. The monarchy's funding comes from the sovereign grant, taxpayer money for royal duties and palaces. The Crown Estate's profits go to the Treasury, the monarch gets a percentage back. This was 15%, but rose to 25% to fund Buckingham Palace's renovation. For 2025, the grant is projected at £132 million, a 45% jump. At a time of national hardship, this figure is controversial. Critics see it as unjustifiable. Supporters call it an investment in a national symbol. Buckingham Palace is more than a home. It's a global icon and tourist draw. Renovations, they argue, are essential. But is it right to spend so much on one family when so many struggle? Purkiss's comments landed in this context, turning a debate about heritage into one about priorities. The question, who should benefit from public money? The answer is far from simple. Benefit scrounger is a loaded term, often used to stigmatise those on welfare. It conjures up images of laziness and fraud, painting people in need as undeserving or even as burdens on society. The phrase is thrown around in headlines and political debates, shaping public opinion and fueling resentment. Purkiss's use of it for the royals was subversive. She flipped the negativity onto the most privileged. By applying the same label to the monarchy, she challenged viewers to reconsider who really benefits most from public funds. Her point was sharp and simple. If we scrutinise the poor for every penny of public money, why not the monarchy, whose funding is rarely questioned with the same intensity? The double standard is stark. A family on benefits is seen as a drain, but millions for the royals is tradition. The contrast is not just about money, but about who is seen as worthy and who is not. Purkiss forces us to confront this disparity, making us question the stories we're told about deservingness and privilege. Our attitudes are shaped more by status than by sums. The social hierarchy influences who we judge and who we excuse, often without us realizing it. Welfare for the poor is met with suspicion. For the monarchy, it's duty and heritage. The same public money is seen through two very different lenses. The roles aren't equivalent, but the critique is about scale and language. It's about how we talk about support and who we believe deserves it. Purkiss wasn't calling the royals idle. She used satire to expose hypocrisy, to make us laugh and then think twice. She held up a mirror. Why anger at pennies for the poor, but not millions for the powerful? The question lingers, challenging us to reflect on our own biases. It's about fairness, not just tradition. It's about whether our values match our actions, and if we're willing to question the status quo. And it's a conversation Britain can't ignore, one that asks us to look deeper at who we support and why. Purkiss's critique went beyond money. It touched on the personal histories of King Charles and Queen Camilla, delving into the complicated legacy they carry as a couple in the public eye. Calling the king adulterous recalled the public collapse of his marriage to Diana, a scandal that played out on the front pages and in living rooms across Britain. For many, that drama shaped their view of the monarchy, leaving a mark that still lingers in the national consciousness. The religious angle was sharp. As head of the Church of England, Charles couldn't marry Camilla in church due to their past, highlighting the tension between tradition and personal happiness. Their civil ceremony highlighted a disconnect between royal roles and personal lives, a reminder that even monarchs must navigate the rules set by centuries of custom. Critics question the king's authority as defender of the faith, given this history, and wonder if the monarchy can truly embody the values it represents. While some have moved on, Diana's memory still shapes public sentiment, her legacy casting a long shadow over the royal family's image. Charles began his reign without the goodwill his mother enjoyed, facing a nation divided in its feelings about the new king. Purkiss tapped into this, highlighting the tension between private actions and public duties, and questioning whether the monarchy can adapt to modern expectations. In a monarchy, the personal is always political, and every decision is scrutinized by both supporters and critics alike. The character of the monarch shapes the institution's legitimacy, influencing how the public perceives the crown's relevance in today's world. This unresolved tension is a challenge for King Charles's reign, as he seeks to balance tradition with the demands of a changing society. The past is never far from the present, and for the monarchy, history is both a burden and a guide for the future. Purkiss's final jab was political, aimed at Keir Starmer, the likely next Prime Minister. She suggested, if he wants to cut the benefit bill, start with the royals. This linked the monarchy debate to real political choices. Labour wants to appear fiscally responsible, often talking tough on welfare, but Starmer must balance appealing to traditional supporters and swing voters. Purkiss's challenge, will cuts target only the vulnerable, or also the privileged? Agreeing risks alienating monarchists. Dismissing it invites charges of hypocrisy. The monarchy remains a political third rail. Few politicians dare touch it. Purkiss forced the issue onto the agenda, using the royals as a test of priorities. Does a fairer Britain include scrutiny at the top? The question is bold and unanswered. It exposes the gap between rhetoric and reality. The debate is now political. Our journey through this debate comes to a close here, but the conversation is far from over. Thank you for engaging with uncomfortable questions and embracing new perspectives along the way. Whether you agree or disagree, your participation truly matters and shapes the discussion. We've explored tradition, money, language, and the personal histories that connect us all. The monarchy debate is about more than a family. It's about our evolving national identity. There are no easy answers, only complex questions that challenge us. Voices like Purkiss's ensure the conversation continues, sparking new ideas. As Britain changes, so will this debate, evolving with each new generation. It's about what we value and the kind of society we want to build. Do we cling to tradition or demand fairness and accountability for all? Let's leave with open minds, ready to keep questioning and learning. In asking hard questions, a nation grows stronger and more united. Thank you for being part of this essential and ongoing story.